Yo, Donny, what's for lunch? You know what? It's almost time for Thanksgiving. I think we gotta make some mac and cheese. Let's go.
I'm a private chef, cook for money, yeah.
Guys, welcome back to What's for Lunch, another solo episode. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so we gotta get you guys ready. One of my go-to sides is a mac and cheese. This one is very rich, very decadent. This one I saved just for the holidays. Traditionally, when you make a mac and cheese, you're gonna do a roux-based sauce, so you have flour, you have butter, and then you build your cheese sauce with that. This one, we're using eggs. There's no roux, there's no stirring. It's pretty straightforward. First thing is first, we're gonna get our pasta boiling. So the thing with this, we're gonna be baking this mac and cheese, so we're gonna underboil it. We're not gonna cook it all the way through on the pot because then you put it in the oven, it's gonna get mushy. So we're gonna cook it just under al dente, probably like 4 minutes. You're gonna taste it and you're gonna go, that's not quite there, but that's how we want it. And then whenever you're making any kind of pasta, mac and cheese, spaghetti, whatever, you gotta make sure your water has plenty of salt in it. More than you think. You don't have to go crazy. It's like people say it should taste like the ocean. That's a little extreme, but you should have a good amount of salt in there. So, 4 or 5 good pinches. I have some sharp cheddar cheese here, 16 ounces, and some Colby Jack, about 8 ounces. That's a lot of cheese. This is a very cheese heavy. Like I said at the beginning, it's a decadent recipe. We're not going light on this. So Colby Jack and cheddar. Now, I said I gotta grab it from the freezer. Whenever you're shredding your own cheese, and you should always shred your own cheese, do not buy the prepackaged stuff, please. It's gonna be so much better if you shred it yourself. It takes an extra 2 minutes. Whenever you're shredding your cheese though, stick it in the freezer about 10 minutes before. If you don't, it'll still work, but when the fat molecules are warm, they clump up, so you're gonna get all clumpy by the time you're done shredding your second piece. If you freeze it, those fat molecules they don't clump up as much and you can shred a little easier. Just something to make it slightly less difficult, slightly less messy, and then the cleanup's not as bad. So I'm gonna shred this cheese. That water is coming up to a boil. All right, I'm gonna drop this pasta in here. It's a pound of pasta. I'm using shells. You can use elbow noodles. You can use elbow noodles, traditional macaroni. I like shells, but that's up to you. Feel free to use whatever. Now this is going to be closer to like a southern style, home style mac and cheese. Like I said, I like it twice a year: Thanksgiving, Christmas, just around then. It's good comfort food, stick to your ribs type of mac and cheese. All right, there's our cheddar cheese. It looks like a lot, but it is a lot, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of cheese. Colby Jack. Now, I'm adding a jalapeno to mine. I like a little bit of spice. This is completely optional. If you want to do jalapeno mac and cheese, great. If not, just skip this step. Everything else will be the same. If you can't see it on camera, I'm just doing a dice on this. I'm gonna leave, do I wanna leave the seeds in? No. Take the white part out, the pith, the seeds, that's the spicy part. And here you can add bacon, you can add onions, you can add some garlic, you can kind of make it your own here. And then here on the stove I have a full stick of melted butter. You're gonna go right into that melted butter just to get a little softened up. A little saute on these. And then to that I'm gonna add a little bit of mustard powder, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of cayenne pepper. Again, these pretty optional for the spices. I like just a little bit of spice in there. The mustard powder is nice to add some richness. Mustard powder too, if you're doing like a traditional cheese sauce, the acidity from the mustard powder is gonna help stop your sauce from splitting, but we're not really worried about that with this. Let's check on the pasta. A little longer. And then to a bowl, we're gonna go with 2 eggs, two cups of milk. All right, a cup and I lost a little bit, but it should be 2 cups. And we're gonna add that melted butter. Make sure it's not hot though, because you don't want those eggs to scramble. If it's coming right off the heat and it's super hot, you'll cook your eggs, and you don't want to do that. You want them to cook, but not till later. So butter, milk, eggs. There's the jalapenos in it, and then all that cheese. Not all of it, actually. Half of it. Half, because we're gonna save some for the top to make a nice broiled layer. This is gonna be done. I'm gonna take the heat. Okay, got cheese, egg, milk mixture. Goes into this bigger bowl. And then to that, we add our pasta. And you're gonna look at this and go, what? This doesn't look right. We're gonna toss it in the oven, it's gonna bake It's all gonna come together. Get yourself a baking dish or a pan right here that can go in the oven. I'm gonna pour some of that in. I'm gonna go with a little bit more cheese here in the middle. And then top that all off. So salt and pepper going in now. And then this will cover and bake for 30 minutes at 350. Boom. Okay, this has come out of the oven. Now we have to finish it off. It's not all the way there yet. What we're gonna do is take all that leftover cheese and we're gonna sprinkle a layer right on top. I think I got my measurements wrong and put a little too much cheese in at the beginning, which is fine, but I'm gonna take some Parmesan cheese now just to fill in the cracks here to get a nice even coating on top. This, you really don't even want to see any of the noodles popping in. You're gonna just cover this with cheese. Whew, okay. One more. All right, there we go. Now, this is gonna go back in the oven. We're gonna turn the broiler on to high. We're gonna do 5 more minutes just to get that even coating on top melted. It's gonna be a little brown, a little crispy, and then there. All right, broiler, broil. That is what you wanna see. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Now, I know you wanna dive right in. You can't. You gotta let it set. If you dive right in now, it's gonna look like jiggly and like a little loose. You think you did something wrong. No, it needs about 5 to 10 minutes just to cool and set and let it chill out just a little bit. Also, you're gonna burn your mouth off if you go in right now. But let this set up 10 minutes. This is a great thing to make the day before. The next day, this is even better. After it's cooled, you put it in the fridge, you take it out, you reheat it. You can slice it almost like a cheesecake and it'll reheat perfectly. So if you're doing Thanksgiving and you wanna get ahead of the game, make this the day before, put it back in the oven, bring it up to temperature, and it'll be good to go. Guys, remember this holiday season, every crave-worthy bite tastes better with Pepsi. I have a Pepsi Zero Sugar here. All right, this had about 10 minutes to cool. Now it's time just to cut in. We're gonna get a nice little piece here. And you'll see here just what we're talking about. Got a little parsley on top. And there you go. This is a decadent mac and cheese. Without further ado, here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, that hits the spot. That's what you want out of a mac and cheese. That's gonna do it for this episode of What's for Lunch. We'll see you next time. I got more Thanksgiving stuff coming, so stay tuned. We'll see you then. Peace.